All right, I want you to close your eyes for a second. Just imagine a specific moment with me.
Yeah.
You're standing in a room. It could be, a high-stakes meeting at work, fluorescent lights humming, or maybe it's just a dinner table surrounded by family.
The air feels thick.
Exactly. And someone, a boss, a parent, a friend, asks you for a favor you absolutely do not have the time for. Or maybe they state an opinion that just goes against everything you believe in.
And immediately there's a physical reaction.
Right. Deep in your chest, this rising tide of no, it's screaming, it's tight, like a clenched fist behind your ribs. But before that sound can travel up your throat, something strange happens. An override switch just flips in your
A
brain.
moment of total disconnect.
Your face softens, your head tilts in this, gentle,
Yeah.
accommodating way. You smile and you hear your own voice like it belongs to someone else. Say, absolutely, I'd be happy to help. Or, yeah, I completely see your point.
You're watching yourself betray your own reality in real time.
It's a haunting sensation. You walked into that room as a solid person, but the second the pressure hit, you just liquefied.
You became a chameleon.
Yeah.
You changed color to match the wallpaper. Just make sure you didn't stand out.
And the terrifying part isn't doing it once. It's that if you do it often enough, you start to forget what your original color even was.
And we're taught to applaud this.
We are. We call it being nice. We call it being low maintenance or selfless. But today, in this deep dive, we're going to look at the very sharp, very dangerous edge of that sword.
We're exploring that line where kindness stops being kindness and starts being,
Yeah.
well, self-erasure. This isn't just about being a people pleaser. It's a survival mechanism,
A biological imperative.
a biological imperative known as fawning.
Fawning. It sounds so gentle, doesn't it? Like a baby deer.
But the reality of what we're talking about today is anything but gentle.
Thank you.
It's desperate.
So to understand it, we have to look underneath the personality,
Right.
at the machinery.
We have to look at the nervous system. Most people know, the greatest hits of survival responses. If a tiger jumps out of the bushes, your body prepares you for one of two things.
Fight or flight. You either punch the tiger or you run away from it.
And then there's the third one people know, freeze. You play dead, hope the threat just passes you by.
Right.
But there is a fourth F that's often overlooked, and that is fawn. Imagine the tiger jumps out and you realize you can't outrun it, you can't fight it, and playing dead, that's not going to work.
So what's left?
Your nervous system offers one last
Yes,
sort
go
of
ahead.
Hail Mary. You try to flatter the tiger.
You try to be useful to the predator.
Exactly. You try to become what the tiger wants you to be so it won't hurt you. You merge with the threat. And in our world, the tiger isn't usually in the bushes.
No, it's a disappointed parent.
Yeah.
An angry spouse.
Yeah.
A boss with a fragile ego.
So fawning becomes this maladaptive way of creating safety. It's not about affection at all. It's about protection.
It's the instinct to merge with the needs and expectations of others just to survive.
Precisely. Think of it like becoming a human mirror. If I reflect you perfectly, your needs, your mood, your opinions, then there's no friction between us,
And if there's no friction, I'm safe.
which completely reframes the nice person.
Yeah. They aren't being nice because they're overflowing with charity. They're being nice because they're overflowing with fear.
That is the crucial distinction. It's a strategy rooted in fear. And that origin story, it usually starts very early, in environments where safety was conditional.
So a child learns that having their own needs just causes trouble.
Maybe their parents are emotionally volatile, exploding at the slightest stress. Or maybe they're just distant, unavailable.
And the child is running the calculations.
They learn a simple equation. If I have a need, I am a burden. If I am a burden, I'm in danger of being rejected or attacked. So the only way to be good, or really to be safe, is to have no needs at all.
Just be a vessel for everyone else's needs.
And that child grows up to be the adult who physically cannot say no. Not because they don't want to,
Yeah?
but because their nervous system thinks no is a life-threatening risk.
So their body reacts to declining a dinner invite with the same cortisol spike as if they were standing on a cliff edge.
Which explains the physical part you mentioned at the start, the
Yeah.
tightness, the panic. It's not in your head, it's in your biology.
Yeah.
But let's move inward now.
Okay.
Because if you spend your life being a mirror, reflecting everyone else, what happens when no one is standing in front of you?
That's the hollow self. That's the internal cost of this whole transaction.
It's the consequence of self-abandonment. When you
Right.
spend decades pushing down your own emotions, your own opinions to accommodate others, you create a void where a personality is supposed to be.
It makes me think of that feeling of decision paralysis.
Mm.
It's not just, oh, I don't care where we eat. It's a genuine heart-racing panic because you don't know the right answer.
It's terror. Because if you've outsourced your will to others, if your whole sense of right is just what do they want, then making a choice for yourself feels impossible.
You're not just deciding between Italian or Mexican food.
No. You're scanning the other person for micro-expressions, trying to guess the answer that will keep the peace. You're trying to solve a puzzle that doesn't even exist.
That sounds absolutely exhausting, just constantly reading the room, checking the temperature, adjusting your mask. But what happens to the things you actually feel, your actual beliefs?
They don't just disappear.
No?
They go underground. And this is where we see the tragedy of the compromised value system. A fawner might find themselves nodding along to things they find abhorrent.
Or laughing at a joke that actually hurts their feelings.
Yes, just to avoid friction. They become so good at being a chameleon that they validate things they completely disagree with. And that creates this deep, deep sense of shame.
It's a betrayal of yourself.
It is the ultimate betrayal. And the psyche knows it.
Right.
That's why you see this massive buildup of inner tension. You can't just suppress emotion forever.
Right.
Think of it like holding a beach ball underwater. You can do it for a bit, but your arms get tired, the pressure builds.
And eventually the ball just shoots to the surface.
Exactly. And it manifests as these sudden, weird outbursts of rage over something tiny. Or it comes out sideways, venting to strangers, unhealthy eating, drinking to numb it all.
It's interesting you mentioned venting to strangers. It sounds like a paradox, but it makes perfect sense. The stakes are low. You can finally let the mask slip because you'll never see that cab driver again.
It's a pressure valve. You can't release it with the people you love because you have to be perfect for them. You have to be the mirror.
So that's the internal chaos. Let's flip the camera and look at this externally, because to the outside world, this person just looks incredibly helpful.
They look like a saint. They're the one who always brings the cupcakes, who stays late, who never ever complains.
Yeah.
But there are tells. The biggest one is the sorry button.
The apology reflex. I think a lot of us are guilty of this. You bump into a table and you say sorry to the table.
Right. Or someone else creates a problem, the traffic is bad, and you apologize for it. Sorry, it's so cold in here. It's a preemptive strike. You're apologizing to diffuse conflict before it can even start.
You're taking responsibility for reality itself.
Yeah. And then there's the overextension, the calendar that's just bleeding red ink because you've taken on everyone else's burdens.
This is framed as being reliable, but it's a fear response.
Totally. The fawner believes their utility is their only currency. Their operating belief is, if I am not useful, I am not lovable.
So they're stretched thin, not out of abundance, but out of fear that saying no will cause someone to turn on them.
And this connects to that idea of harmonious appeasement.
It sounds so peaceful, but it's really just a trap. It's a kind of perfectionism, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It's the belief that if I am perfect, if I am frictionless, if I anticipate your needs before you even have them, that I am safe from criticism. I'm safe from abandonment.
It's a defensive crouch disguised as a helping hand.
And the tragic part is the validation loop. We crave the thank you. We crave being told we're such a good friend.
But it never fills the void. It's like pouring water into a bucket with a hole in it.
Because the validation is for the mask, not for the person. Think about it. If you praise me for being easygoing, but I'm only being easygoing because I'm suppressing my own feelings, your praise doesn't make me feel seen.
It makes you feel more hidden.
It reinforces the idea that the real me, the one with needs and anger, is fundamentally unlovable.
Which brings us to the relationships themselves, because logically you'd think, wow, everyone must love being friends with a fawner. But the reality is very different. It's the paradox of connection.
It's a profound irony. Fawning is this desperate attempt to be close to people, to secure attachment.
But it actually prevents any real connection.
You cannot be loved for who you are if you never show who you are.
If you're always a mirror, the other person is basically just in a relationship with themselves.
Exactly. And eventually, healthy people sense that hollowness. There's a term for this invisible barrier, the wall of kindness.
The wall of kindness, that's a powerful image. It sounds nice, but it's still a wall.
It keeps people out. It makes the relationship a one-way street. The fawner gives and gives and gives.
Right.
But they refuse help. It's altruistic neglect.
They're terrified of being a burden.
So they never let anyone give back to them. And that imbalance, that lack of reciprocity, It can turn toxic very, very quickly.
This was the part of the exploration that really hit me, the link between fawning and toxic relationships.
It's the darkest part of the pattern. Because the fawner fears conflict more than they fear mistreatment, they often lack the boundaries to stop disrespectful behavior.
They teach people that they can be treated poorly.
They basically hand the other person a map of exactly how to exploit them. And even if it doesn't get that bad, it just leads to burnout. The battery dies.
And we get what's called a solitary retreat.
I find this concept so poignant. The only time the fawner feels truly safe is when they are completely alone. Social interaction is a performance that drains them.
So they isolate, not because they don't love people, but because they just need to rest their nervous
They
system.
need to finally put the mirror down.
It's a heartbreaking image, sitting alone just so you can finally stop smiling. So, we've painted a pretty grim picture, but we can't leave it there.
No.
How do we break the glass? How do we stop being a reflection and start being a person?
The shift begins with awareness.
Yeah.
It sounds simple, but you have to recognize the tiger isn't in the room anymore. You're reacting to a threat from your past, not your present.
You have to catch yourself in the act of shape-shifting.
And then comes the hard work. Redefining boundaries. And I love how we can reframe this. Boundaries aren't walls to keep people out.
They're the perimeter of your self-respect.
Correct. Here's the warning label. We have to accept that setting a boundary will feel wrong at first. It will feel dangerous.
Your body will scream that you're about to be attacked.
Your heart will race. You'll feel this huge wave of guilt. So the advice isn't wait until you feel confident. The advice is do it anyway.
Sit with the panic.
Exactly. Sit with the guilt. The guilt is a lie, is old programming. You have to practice unlearning. And you don't start by quitting your job or confronting your parents. You start small.
Low stakes practice.
Tiny stakes. Express a tiny opinion. Actually, I don't like pizza. Let's get Thai food. Or, I can't talk right now. Can I call you back in an hour?
And then you just wait for the world not to end.
And when the world doesn't end, when your friend just says, okay, Thai is fine, your nervous system gets a tiny piece of new data. It learns, oh, I can exist, I can take up space, and I am still safe.
You have to build that evidence file, one small no at a time.
It's about practicing authenticity over appeasement. It's choosing to be real instead of just being nice.
And this is where we have to redefine kindness, right? Because the fawner worries, if I stop doing this, I'll become a jerk.
But true kindness, the kind that actually sustains relationships, has to include kindness to the self. If you are destroying yourself to please me, that isn't kindness. That's martyrdom.
Kindness is not equivalent to being a doormat. That's the bumper sticker right there.
It is. It's about integration. You don't have to stop being a caring person. You just have to stop being an invisible one. True kindness is a middle ground. I listen to your needs, but I also assert mine.
It's a negotiation, not a surrender.
Exactly. A journey from the invisible self to the integrated self. It's putting the pieces of the mirror back together, but arranging them into a mosaic that actually looks like you.
Beautifully put.
It's about realizing that your no is what makes your yes meaningful.
Yeah.
You can't say no, your yes means nothing. It's just compulsion. But when you can stand in your own truth, your kindness becomes a choice. And a choice is an incredibly powerful thing.
We've covered so much ground in this deep dive. From the physiological response, that fourth F, fawn, all the way to the hard work of building boundaries.
And none of this is easy. If you recognize yourself in this description, just be gentle with yourself. You developed this strategy to survive. It worked. It kept you safe when you were small.
But you're not small anymore.
And the armor that protected you is now suffocating you. It's time to take it off.
That is the thought we want to leave you with. But before we go, one final challenge. A provocative thought to carry into your next conversation.
In your next interaction, a big meeting, or just choosing a movie on the couch, pause for 1 second. Ask yourself this.
Am I agreeing because I genuinely agree?
Or am I agreeing because I want to be safe?
Am I seeking connection? Or am I seeking cover?
The answer might surprise you.
Picture that mirror we talked about at the beginning, the one that reflects what everyone else wants to see. I want you to imagine taking a small hammer and just tapping the glass. Not to destroy it, but just to crack it. Just enough so that through the cracks you can finally see the person standing behind it. Imperfect. Distinct. And finally, real. Thanks for diving deep with us.
Take care of yourselves, truly.